I rolled to a stop and came to a sitting upright position, shaking all the snow out of my ears. I hear the two kids on the hill behind me going, I ain't gonna try that. No, you can go down that. Screw you, man. I'm not going down that one. And they turned and they skied away.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are tuning in from. This is the BS Buddies Podcast. I am your host, Joe. That is your host, Ian. And today we got some skiing, we got some snowboarding, snow tubing, and skateboarding stories. Mostly winter themed, but we'll throw in a few skateboarding.
Given that we are, in fact, from the Northlands, most of our stories involve snow because, you know, snows here about 7 months out of the year, so you got to figure out some way to entertain yourself. Otherwise, you're just stuck inside bored all the time.
And we're going to start off with snow skiing, and Ian has some stories about that.
I've got a good one that actually starts us off. So there's a couple of different hill areas that you can ski around that, you know, are fairly close by to the place where I've grown up. So I've definitely been a few times, once or twice. As I was telling Joe before, I've never really gotten into snowboarding because I've never been able to get like the balance down. Like it's really weird, but I think my center of gravity is just that's what I'm blaming, by the way. I blame my center of gravity. Not that I have poor balance. My center of gravity is too high for me to have good balance. And my theory has been further proven by the fact that I suck on a skateboard as well as a snowboard. But I also suck on water skiing too, so
just get lower. You lower your center of gravity.
Just crouch. I'm gonna be riding around with my knees around my ears, just like, yeah, this is how I do it. Like, no. I don't know why or how. I've tried, like I said, I've tried it. I can't seem to get the balance right. I always flop one way or the other, and it doesn't matter how much I wave my arms and scream in terror. I still fall every single time. But this one was a fault of my own hubris because so at the place where we went skiing, I think I must have been around 12 years old, something like that. Like I was pretty young. And there's several different hills that are all right in a row that you can go up with the ski lifts. And, you know, some of the hills go around wide. Some of them are like a straight down. And then there's one in particular. I think it's a Black Diamond Hill. It's the tallest hill at the ski resort, which is why it's Black Diamond, because you go off the top and it's like straight down and then boom, there you're back right at the resort. It probably takes 15 seconds to ride the whole thing, but you go screaming down it. And
is it that the same place that we've both been to?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say it's Andy's Tower Hills.
Tower Hills and Andy's Tower Hills.
Tower Hills. I think it's outside of like Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, like central Minnesota.
And Alexandria, actually.
Thank you. Yeah. We've both been there a lot. Might as well just shout it out. We took a lot of school trips there as well, so figured.
Great place if you happen to live in Minnesota or in the area. Go there. Sorry, Joe.
No, you're good. I just wanted to add that little snippet if anyone's interested in the exact place. And
yeah,
I got stories coming up from there.
You can go ahead and look up the pictures online. I'm sure you'll see it. It's literally the big hill right smack dab in the middle of the place looking out from the resort. And, you know, when you're standing at the bottom, you're like, damn, that's a ways up there. And if you're standing up on top of that hill, there are some more hills that are off to the right as you're looking at it. And those are like Blue Diamonds and Green Diamond, I think is what it is, or yellow. Well, yeah, green circle, however the grading system is. For as many times as I've been there, I still don't know the grading system. I just know Black Diamond is the hardest.
Yes.
And anyways, so off to the side of the tallest one is some more courses down that way. And if you go up to the top of the tallest hill, you can, in fact, actually look down a very steep backside of the tallest hill, and it kind of gives way down into the easier courses. Now, let it be known, that there is no actual official path from the top of the tallest hill down to these other courses. Technically, if you want to ski or snowboard the other courses, you're supposed to take the lift up to those beginnings and then go from there. You are not supposed to just drop right down, or if you do it at your own risk, which I did. And my dad and I were standing up at the top of this hill, and I think my brother was there too. And we're looking down on it, and we're sitting there, just kind of like peering over the edge, like, "Oh, hey, that's the other course down there. Like, you think we could get down there from up here? Well, yeah, that'd be pretty cool." And then there were like a couple of kids, about probably the same age as me at the time, nearby. They were also looking over and contemplating whether or not they wanted to go down. So my brother naturally goes, "Well, I'll see you guys at the bottom." And he whoop, right over this steep little drop off. And it's not a very big drop from the top of this big hill to the other course. I'd say it's maybe 40, 50 foot. Once again, it's a very steep 40, 50 foot. Like one of those falls that if you do fall, it's going to hurt. You're going to do a couple of cartwheels and youchies before you
And
stop
turn into
tumbling.
a giant snowball. And
Yeah, the old and then roll down the hill and take everybody out, and then those weird strike screens will play over the TV. But so my brother goes down it and he makes it a-okay. And of course, I'm feeling confident because we've been skiing for quite some time at this point. I've gotten used to it. I'm real good. And I'm very small. I can throw my weight around very easily. I'm very light, very nimble. So I've been having a real fun time zigging and zagging and ducking and dodging and weaving and all that good nonsense. And so hey, if he can do it, I can do that. So bloop, over the edge I go, and I'm getting into it. I'm going to the right, and then I'm going to the left, and then I'm going back to the right. It looks like I'm doing some weird little boogie as I'm flying down the hill, and I actually make it to the base of the hill, and I think that I'm home free. And I'm good. I made it on to the smooth part of the course. I'm no longer on the rough powder. And I was wrong. I was, so very wrong. And because from the direction that the light was shining behind me from the big pole up on top of the hill, because it was getting late in the evening, the sun was going down, it's like 4:30, so everything's almost pitch black because wintertime hates us. And from the light at the position behind me on the hill, it was illuminating the snow in such a way that I did not see the last little hump, maybe half a foot tall, maybe, but it was packed solid snow. So it was not like you were just going to cut right through this little hump of snow. And I made it all the way to the bottom of the hill, and I put my arms up to go right as my skis hit the front of that little bump, and they popped up. And I did this little hoop-de-hoo over it, and then my skis came back down, and they stuck right in the snow, and they did not move. I, on the other hand, weigh more than my skis, and so I, in fact, continued to move. And so as I went up and hit, the skis went, and I went, and I just ate snow, and I must have rolled 3 or 4 times. Didn't hurt that bad, it's not, by that point I wasn't going very fast, but I definitely had some ice burns on my face. And as I rolled to a stop and came to a sitting upright position, shaking all the snow out of my ears, I hear the 2 kids on the hill behind me going, "I ain't gonna try that. No, you can go down that. Screw you, man, I'm not going down that one." And they turned and they skied away, and I stood up, dusted off my pride, shook the snow out of my jacket, and went back to my skis, and away I went back down the hill. Ironically, this is a little side inclusion to this story. I think this was the exact same trip that I had gone down one of the hills, and I was feeling bold, so I was going to go over one of the jumps. It wasn't a very big jump. It was just like as you come down the hill, they slope the snow up and then slope it back down. So my plan was to literally just do like a little bunny hop at the top of the jump and ride it down or whatever. And I got to the top of the jump and I pushed off with my legs to catch some air. And as I pushed off with my legs, I heard, and I looked down and my skis landed the jump. I did not. I did not land the jump. My skis disconnected mid-flight and said, "Later." and just took off. And I don't know what happened because like my feet were definitely locked in. Like I didn't mess that up. You have to lock your feet into a ski and it stays there. Like there should be a little release you hit for them to fall off. But I guess as soon as I got midair, they were like, "Oh, my job here is done. See you, boss," and just off they went, and away I went. So that's
Your landing gear got away from you. The
it
wheels
really
just
did.
rolled off.
It really did. And I'll tell you, the bottom of ski boots do not make good substitute for actual skis. Tried, tested, do not do it for yourself. I already covered that one for you. That's for you, Chief.
That's fair. Give me 1 second. There is a cat who got into a food bag and is trying to eat through the plastic bag.
That sounds like my cat. Sounds like Bubbers made his way over to Joe's house and was trying to eat his food. Bubbers, you still here? Nope, Bubbers is here. He didn't do it. We're good. We're okay. Hi, Joe. I hope you're having fun editing this. This is me talking to you as you do this. Oh, you're back. Hi.
That was great.
Nice. I was sitting there and I was like, man, that might be Bubbers. And then I yelled for him. He came sauntering around the corner at the top of the stairs and I heard him just. And I'm like, oh, nope, not Bubbers. He's still here.
Yeah, I just saw Jackson like jump into the hutch, and I'm like, why is he like trying to sit on all the hats? And then all of a sudden, I heard a bag hit the ground as you were telling your story, and it's like, oh, so
Oh, no.
I've been watching him like trying to get into the bag for like 5 minutes. I didn't want to interrupt you.
You got to keep emergency chanclas next to your desk so you can just throw it at him and be like, that's it. And, whip it at him.
That'd be fair. Okay. I got one skiing story. I went with my childhood best friend, and this is the second time I went to Andy's. I'll get to the first time in a second. It was my first time trying skiing, and I think I went down about 5 times. The first time was it was interesting. I thought I was getting the hang of it pretty well, and then I was only doing the like green circle beginner slope and just trying to get used to it.
Right.
My buddy, he had gone skiing for like Cub Scouts before, so like he'd been through it. I think we were about 14 at the time, 14, 15. Then he's like, hey, I want to go on a harder slope. I think it was a blue one. I don't believe it was a black one. And he's like, come on, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm like, okay. But I was very anxious for it. I went down anyway. I was picking up a ton of speed and I wasn't prepared for it. And there was a ski lift that went right over us, and they have these big pillars. And I was afraid I was going to hit one. And I was going so fast and I was freaking out that I just forced myself to fall and like kind of slide.
just ate it.
And then I hear like people above me asking if I was okay. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I started walking down a little bit and I got back on my skis, tried it again, and then just got too anxious again. So I popped my skis off and told my buddy, and he's like, I'll meet you down at the ski lift. It's like, okay. And walk all the way down, and he's not there.
Yep. He's gone.
And so I get on the ski lift alone, and I am not a fan of heights. I've gotten a lot better, but ski lifts just terrify me. I feel like I would enjoy or try and go back if I wasn't so afraid of heights. But anyways, go back up. And he said that the person at the ski lift made him get on. He would not let him wait for me, which I thought was stupid. It wasn't like it was busy. There was only a couple other people going down that slope at that time. And yeah, he said he tried to wait for me, but the guy said, no, you need to get on the lift and go.
They like to be weird sticklers about the rules sometimes, and I'm not quite sure why.
But just this is just a dumb thing. 14-year-old.
Please tell me they at least taught you how to snowplow before they set you loose with those skis. They taught you what a snowplow is and like how to slow
No, I
down.
had zero training. Usually they have a little like training, a very small slope where they kind of teach you. I didn't get taught. I just kind of, my
Just
buddy
went
just
for
kind
it.
of briefly explained, but when around that time, Coldplay had like a Grammy nominated song, and it happened to be the same name as the slope, Paradise. So when it came on, I told my buddy, I hate this song right now because of you. And he just laughed it off.
He was like, "Oh yeah, man, that's funny. Oh, that's great." And you're sitting over there like, "I hate you with everything that is in my heart right now. I hope to God I watch you just fall on your face and slide on your face the rest of the way down the hill." Just
No,
sitting on the lift like, "I pray on your downfall."
I wasn't, I didn't wish that, but I mean, it was more of, I'm not going skiing with you again.
For anyone out there who might be thinking of trying skiing after listening to this, just know one crucial piece of information that would have saved Joe had he known it going in. Stop biting my headphone cords, you idiot. I let you sit up here. If you're going to wreck the meeting, you are going to be punished. You know better than this, Mr. Chubbs. You had a business meeting last week and you did wonderfully. Now you're doing this? The stress gets to him sometimes.
I love how you started saying, this is what you need to remember. And then just
This is what
right
you remember.
into
Don't bite my headphone cords. You're
you
good. That's all you
idiot.
need to know. Anyways, the crucial piece of information is called the snowplow. It's a very self-explanatory way to slow down when you're on the slopes. But in case you may not be familiar, skiing, as we know, you have one ski for 1 foot, meaning you have two. So if you want to go forward, you put them parallel to each other and you go forward down the slope. And if you want to slow down, you put them in a V or a snowplow, and you literally just.
I've heard
And that's
pizza
how you
French
slow
fry.
down. Yeah, pizza slice, V wedge, snowplow. It goes by many names. All means the same. You just point the toes towards each other and ride the wave down. Side note, doesn't work too well if you're on ice or like icy snow, then it doesn't work worth a crap. But if you're on powder, you should slow down fairly quick. Very handy for those people who might not have that crazy technique that you see them using in the Olympics, where they're like spinning 180s side to side around the flags and slowing down. That's way too advanced nonsense. Start out with the snowplow. That's the nice and easy way to do it. And if you find you're still going too fast, Joe's method's always a nice fail safe. Just fall back and take the L.
Yeah, I just kind of like fell on my side and just like almost like a baseball slide, just try and slow down.
Yeah, that's the easy way to do it.
Do you have any snowboarding stories?
Any snowboarding stories? I have none that I can think of. Oh, thank God. He's gone. I love that cat, but oh my God. Snowboarding stories. I'm trying to think of snowboarding stories that like I've actually, because I think the only time I attempted snowboarding was like once or twice, and I had those really crappy kids snowboards that they sold from like Walmart back in the day. You know, the ones where like the little boot lace thing was like pre-installed on there. Like you literally just shoved your foot in there and ratcheted her down, and the thing was about as strong as a credit card, so it was just you bend it back and forth and everything.
I had one like
yeah,
that.
those don't work too well for snowboarding, and like I said, I didn't do very well when I was on it. and I've never been able to hold my balance very well like that. So I've always just stuck with skiing. I like having 2 points of contact with the ground, not just one.
You still have 2 points of contact with the ground.
Nope.
Well, I
The
see.
snowboard counts as one. Gotcha.
Anyways, before I argue, um, I got one, and it came before the skiing stuff. Um, so this one I got trained on, but they yelled at me immediately because we went for a school trip. So we had a big line of people who wanted to snowboard and going up the bunny hill just to because you had to pass that to go up. I don't know what happened with the ski one, but we'll go with it.
They figured, oh, he's on skis. How much harm could he do? Have at her, champ.
A-
Watch out for
apparent,
the trees. They jump out at you.
apparently, when you're going up, you're supposed to have only 1 foot on your like clicked into your snowboard. But they only told that when we first got there, and I was towards the back of the line. So I put 2 in, and then once I got to the top, they yelled at me because I wasn't supposed to do that. It's like, I'm 14, and
I don't
this,
even know what
I've
the
never
rule
been
for
here
that is.
before.
Yeah.
Anyways, I go up the ski lift and go down the green circle like I did with the skis. As soon as I start going down, like I slip, fall backwards, head hits the back of the slope. Did we have helmets on? No. It didn't feel too good. Once I got down to the end, I didn't know how to slow down. I
I'm
I
going fast.
eventually luckily people were out of the way enough and there was a area where I could kind of learn how to slow down. I went down one more time after that. I don't really remember it, but after that I was just kind of done because my head was hurting a little bit. So I went into the lodge and there was a girl that I went to. Uh, she was in my grade. She got hurt, and then she went said, "I'll be right back," and to try and get some ice or something. Came back an hour later.
I'll be right back. Yeah, okay, right back.
Luckily, there were a couple other people in my grade that came in and just kind of chatted in the meantime, and then she came back and we just talked for the rest of the time. We were kind of done. And that person is my now fiance. So that was their like
So
first little date without it being a date. I just
he
like
said, "I'll be right back," and then went on a journey through perilous, arduous mountains or something, just poof, off the face of the earth, gone.
pretty much.
Yeah. Uh,
That's really the only snowboarding
that's
story
one of
that I
those where you leave back. Hey, is your snow supposed to have Kool-Aid on it? Huh? Like, you know?
have.
Oh man. I was gonna
But
say, no, I don't remember what the rule is for having your snowboard unhooked from one foot. I think it's something to do with like if you were to fall off or if something were to occur, you need to have 1 foot free for whatever reason. I think it's for safety purposes, but I don't remember why for sure.
the only thing I can think of is when you're on the ski lift, like so you can get off and like step and you don't like if you
I
get
suppose,
off
yeah.
and then just slide backwards down.
Yeah, wee! Wait a minute, wrong way, wrong way. Yeah. You're sitting there going, no, no, trying to grab onto something, anything to hold on to. Oh man.
You
Oh,
said you told me about it before we recorded, but you have snow tubing story.
yes.
I've went one time with the same buddy that I went skiing with, but I mean it was just a fun time. We went. I think we did that before we left. Wasn't too like a big story. It was just like, hey, a big giant
It's like-
tube.
And
But
we
would you
went
like
down a
to?
hill.
Would Would you like to? Or is there any further explanation to snow tubing than that? Just big
I
giant
mean,
tube pushed down hill.
It's I will definitely say for those who might live in warmer climates and don't have a lot of snow, you guys have probably seen maybe in the summertime or springtime or whenever, people will go like tubing down rivers and whatnot and stuff like that and enjoy the float. Well, up here in the north, since, we can't do that for half the year at a time, we'll take inner tubes from, say, tractor tires or even commercial tubes you can buy for like river tubing and boat tubing and all that nonsense, and we just take them and push them down a hill because I mean that's just as fun and easy as buying a sled or a pair of skis, if not even easier. So it's one of the pastimes that you see happen a lot, and a lot of the ski resorts up here usually have a tubing section, and it's usually meant for families and kids who haven't quite got the hang of the skiing and all that nonsense yet and just want a fun time to go down the hill and back up again and all the over and stuff like that. And the story that I was telling Joe was I was a little bit older at this point. I must have been about 15 or 16 or 17, somewhere abouts in there. Hanging out with a good buddy of mine, and he was telling me, "Hey, we're going to go to Andy's Tower Hills, same place." And I forget why the reason we were going. I think he was just having a family outing or something like that. And we decided first and foremost that we wanted to start off with the tubes because we thought, well, that'd be a lot more fun. We can go tubing for a little bit and then switch over to skis later on. And for anyone who is not aware, these tubes are big. Like these are not. It's not like some little pool floaty that you fit nicely around your tushy and sit down and slide. No, these
So
tubes are like 5 feet across and stand about a foot and a half tall. Like they're
y-
meant to have some cushion.
yeah, I want to, because I went water tubing a lot as a kid, and for me, it's one of those tubes where you can lay down completely flat, the big circular ones, but times that by like two or three. Like Ian said, they are literally like a foot,
Yeah.
foot and a half thick, and yeah, like 5, 6 feet in diameter. They're just
They're
giant.
big
You
tubes.
can fit. I know when I went, we fit three of us, so two teenagers and like uh, I don't think it was quite in junior high, but like a
Yeah,
smaller person. And
in the middle.
I think we still could have fit one more. I think you could fit like four people on these things. And yeah, they can whip you around. You can go in circles, and it's just down a giant hill.
Wee! And they have these, so they have this sort of like a half a sleeve, I guess you could call it a fitting. And it leaves the top half of the tube open so that you can sit down in the hole, but the bottom half of this sleeve is like a little rubber membrane, and that's meant to help protect the tube so that like an errant rock or something doesn't pop the thing as you're going down. And so yeah, if you tuck your knees into your chest, you could like sit in the middle of this tube and just ride that way down the hill. So anyways, we're taking our turns at going down, going up, going back down, sliding down. Well, then eventually comes the idea, we're kids, stupid. We get to the top of the hill and, hey, man, come here. Like, what if we lock arms and then you go down your tube and I'll go down to my tube and we'll just go down together? Like, because the lanes that they have for these tube are pretty big. They're pretty wide. It's like a
Yeah.
20-foot lane across. And then I think they have like 3 or 4 of these lanes. And so you can definitely chain multiple people together. And we discovered, hey, the more people you have in a group, the faster the group goes down the hill. And the reason we knew this is because usually at the bottom they have enough runway space and the snow sort of slope backs up so that as you come off the big main hill you hit the little slope area and then you kind of just gradually slow down and come to this nice little stop at the top of the opposite snowbank which is barely anything high, and then you kind of get off there and walk back over to the cable that runs up. And the cable that runs you up, all of these sleeves for the tubes have a strap attached to them with like a little hook. And then what you're supposed to do is this cable is just constantly spinning on its little deal. And you just walk up to this cable, hook your strap, sit down in your tube, and yoinks you up the hill. And then when you get to the top, there's this little device that unclips your hook, and then you just kind of float down to the top of the hill staging area where you get ready to go for your next run. So one of these times, probably the final time, if I'm being honest. I think we stopped the tubes after this. We get up there, and we must have chained like 7 or 8 of us all together. Like we were a big group. And we're like, all right, like we're gonna do everybody at once. We're gonna have fun. And so we go down this hill and we are booking it. Like we are flying down this hill. I almost lost my hat. That's how fast we were going. And through just the happenstance of the slow rotation of the group as we went down the hill, I ended up as sort of like the point man. So I was in front, and then everybody was staggered out behind me like this big flying wing. And just my luck. Now, what you're supposed to do, right, as I said before, when you come to the stop at the bottom of the hill, you're supposed to get off, walk off of the course, and then walk around everything back over to where this cable hooks and brings you up. But some people, ne'er-do-wells, they like to walk across the bottoms of the very bottom of the trough from the hillside. And, if there's nobody coming down the hill, just, oh, quick, run across the bottom. That way we don't have to take so much time to walk around. And this family, this mom, dad, and a little girl, probably 7 or 8 years old, I don't know. They picked that moment to walk like directly across the bottom of our slope that we were going down. And I was in the front of this, and I could see them. And I could see them just lollying along, sauntering, admiring the weather, and ooh, there's a bird. Like completely oblivious to the fact that a group of 7 or 8 angsty teenagers is just bulldozing down this hillside. And so I'm in the front of this thing, screaming at the top of my lungs, "Get out of the way!" And like, because at one point I tried to drop my boots onto the snow to see if I could like dig my heels in
Oh,
and kind of
geez.
like like maybe like slow us. I don't know, man. I was trying
Spider-Man
anything. I
slow
was,
you down.
yeah, literally Spider-Man from the movie, just trying to hold everyone back. I was grasping at straws, man, because I could see right where they like. This is one of those. It's one of those accidents that like you can see it coming a mile away, but there's nothing I can do to stop it. It's like being in charge of a runaway freight train. This bad boy ain't stopping on a dime, so you better like shit or get off the pot, kind of type of thing. And they're walking across, and I'm screaming and waving my arms, trying to tell them, move, get out of the way. And for whatever reason, they like look over at us as they're walking, and it's not like one of those like, oh, who's yelling? We better move. It's one of those like they're like, oh, and like just sat like deer in the headlights, looked at us, and I felt so bad because I smashed into that little girl. Of course. I promise you guys, I did everything I could to tell them to move, and they didn't move. And we must have been going probably like 20 miles an hour, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're on a tube, you're moving. And boom, I hit her, and the only thing I saw was like her feet went like upright, like suddenly her head was where her feet should be, and vice versa. I'm pretty sure I saw a boot flying off in the distance. Just zoom. And so she cartwheeled end over all of us. Thankfully, she was not hurt. A couple of big alligator tears and, maybe a bruise or two, but she was, for the most part, A-okay. She was not hurt. Me, on the other hand, I was not doing so hot because the dad of the group, as he was walking across, he was hauling his tube along by dragging it by the strap. So his strap was stretched taut. And when you're dragging these tubes with your hand at waist level, that strap happens to sit at just the right height as my face when I'm sitting in one of those tubes. So at 20 miles an hour, I caught that strap across the face. Just absolutely caught me right in the mouth. I got some nice whiplash back on the tube. And then, as I told Joe, I had to go in for my driver's license picture like the next week. So I had this Joker-esque smile from the rope burn and bruising that had happened from the rope being slashed right across my mouth, and like didn't break any teeth, didn't break anything, didn't give me any bad nothing. But I'll tell you, it did not feel too good to suddenly be clotheslined in the lips while you're going down a hill. So I'm pretty sure that was the last that we went back up on the rope, and I think I sat down on the bench for a little while after that. But
That's smart.
I hope that family learned their lesson. When you're done tubing, walk around everything, because the last thing you want is a group of dumb teenagers to plow into your little family gathering at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um, well, I was gonna go into skateboarding, but I think we could save that for another time. Skateboarding and like biking stories. This
biking, I have stories of. Skateboarding, I don't, because
I do.
as I said before, I'm bad with skateboarding.
We'll kind of leave it there. Just leave it to the snow sports, and we'll go from there.
I like that. It was nice.
Which means I have to change my quote because it was a skateboarding quote. Um, Ian, what's your quote?
My quote? Well, I had a quote ready to go, but I actually thought of a better one while we were doing this. And this will be a good tip for, once again, our viewers who may not be from the Northlands. Don't eat yellow snow. It's not lemonade. You will regret it. Don't eat the yellow snow. That's my quote for you. Stay away. No matter what anyone tells you, I don't care what amount of money they bet you to do it. Don't eat the yellow snow unless you enjoy immediately vomiting right afterwards.
What what I would do is I did this one winter. We found these spray bottles. They were just left at the park, so we took them home with us. We filled it with water and then food coloring. So then we got to like, and if you do, it's actually smart. Um, we had a snowman and we were like painting the snowman with this water bottle before it
Put a
froze.
yellow
But
polka dot dead
I,
low center. Just
I'm pretty sure we did do that.
he peed himself. Just
Uh, and my quote from Will Rogers is don't let yesterday take up too much of today.
that's a good one. I like that one.
But thank you guys for BSing with us today. Subscribe or follow to become a bud today. Comment down below if there's any topics you would like us to talk about. And other than that, we'll see you next time on the slopes.
When Joe learns how to snowplow and actually stop while he's skiing.
Maybe. I don't know if I want to go on a ski lift again.
I'll be there with you, buddy.
Oh
But
boy.
in the meantime, you just take her easy now. We'll see you later.